Hello everybody, I'm Crazy KO and welcome back to Sherlock Holmes. There's a cat fight! Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper.
Cat division.
Yeah. Special cat detective division. Don't know what was happening there, but we are back and this is the night where we're wandering around. Wow, you're weirdly loud. It's like pounding foot. Ooh, there's a lantern. Hey, hey, hey. Ooh, I want this.
Not yet, but okay.
Oh yeah, Conscience is here. Conscience is visiting me.
Oh,
This is
you
Mitre
ran
Street,
away,
from where
so-
Watkins, the constable who found
It's
the
still
body,
really
came.
loud. Screaming at me, Holmes. Oh, hi Watson. Nice of you to join us.
No, you have to keep going.
Do I?
You have to keep going until he tells you he doesn't want to go there.
Oh, okay.
I have no reason to go that way.
Another 2 feet from where I had him.
Now you're going to do over there. No, you don't need to go over there. Don't.
Okay, Conscience. You're loud.
Find all your entrances.
Church Passage. It must be opposite the Imperial Club at 16 to 17 Duke Street. Let's go to the end of this lane, Watson.
Still yelling at me. Why are you yelling at me, Sherlock? It makes me feel very sad inside.
Is he yelling at you like on that island in Awakened? Watson! The storm is really bad!
That was great. No, it's just the volume on my computer's really loud. For some reason. And it doesn't seem to be actually doing anything about it. Hey, look! It's him!
Mr. Solomonovich
Hello,
II.
you must be Abraham Solomonovich, am I right?
Yes,
Solomonovich.
that's me.
Look who he says that.
But I know you. You brought a lad to my place to take care of a cat,
It's the pet shop.
and I
man.
loaned you my
Stupid
mask.
cat.
That's me. May I
Mm.
present?
Dr. Watson, of course. Delighted. And you? I have known for a few days that you are a detective by the name of
Great deduction
Sherlock
there.
Holmes. Is that so?
You don't miss a thing, do you? It was the children who gave me away, am I right?
They didn't want to, but I gained their confidence by offering them a small comb.
I don't know how that's a good piece of
I
cake.
made
Small
a good
comb
deal out
and
of
a
it,
piece,
so I don't blame
half a
you.
piece of cake.
However, I must request, as a personal favour,
Crappy
that you
children
reveal
these
my
are. What
identity.
loose tongues.
You
Be
have
firing
my
them all.
Half a piece of cake.
Curiosity
Yeah.
is just killing me, as
What
you
if
may have
Moriarty
guessed.
was around? He's like, oh, here,
Would it
kids,
be
have some cake.
breaking
Where's
an
Mr.
oath
Holmes
to
so I can go kill him?
The nature of the investigation
See?
that you are leading.
Problems.
Maybe they'd need
Oh.
a whole cake from
I
Does
missed
this spot
exactly
where
what
we
he
are
was
now
talking
in
about.
Mitre Square mean
Did
anything to you?
A demon lives in this city, Mr.
Demon.
Holmes.
Not
These
a demon.
unmentionable acts degrade the human race and put the Jewish community in terrible danger.
Lots of rumours are circulating, but they are but rumours. I see you're leaving the Imperial Club. It's a stone's throw away from Mitre Square, and the 2 recent murders were most probably
Conscience
discussed
is
in there.
laughing.
Do you know if anyone
Never,
from the
no,
club
it's never a
saw
good
or heard
sign when
anything that
Conscience is
night?
laughing.
Yes, Mr.
It's all the
Holmes.
paint
That
fumes.
night, 3 members of our
No, it's
club
the sign
saw
outside.
a woman talking to a
Cyanide?
man at the very
Sign
spot
on the
where we are
synagogue.
Oh, the
standing.
sign on the. I
A
thought you said
few
the
minutes before
cyanide.
the body was found, at the
Imperial
end of this
Club,
passage.
that one?
Fantastic,
What
Holmes.
about it?
Calm yourself, Watson.
Cyanide.
There is nothing
That's-
to know. Can we make
Sign on the synagogue.
I said cyanide. Now she's spouting about that sign.
On the synagogue.
Great sin. Oh, that one. Okay.
I must tell you what I know. One
Cyanide.
of the 3 men, my friend Joseph, left that night
You're
with 2 other
fired.
members of the
Paid attention.
Imperial Club, Harry and another Joseph. It was around 1:35 a.m., perhaps a bit earlier, when Joseph,
Paying
not my
attention.
friend, but the other
Joseph.
Aldgate butcher, exited.
This is more than one
He
Joseph.
saw a man
There's
and a
Joseph
woman
and this
in
is other
discussion
Joseph.
at this very spot where we are.
These men must have been about 16 feet away from the couple.
That's about right.
What's wrong with that
So
sign?
Joseph, the butcher,
sign on the
said to
synagogue?
the other
Yeah.
two,
The
while
guy's
pointing at
name
the
is
couple,
tiny, except for
"Look,
Adler.
I don't like going home alone when I see this kind of people here."
Maybe because it's a nod to Irene Adler.
Without
And they're like, we don't want you to miss this Easter egg, so we're gonna scream it at you.
They had the look of
Great Synagogue of London, open daily, 6 a.m. to 11
but
p.m.
no more
Rabbi
than that.
Nathan Adler.
After the
I'm
murder,
sorry. I'm
deputies
probably
threw
distracting
Nathan
you from
Marcus
this.
what they had seen.
Not quite. Harry stated that he
did.
hadn't seen the couple. As for Joseph, the butcher, even though he was the one who commented
can't.
on them and pointed them out, said that he couldn't remember anything except that the man was
I'm
about
sorry, I'm trying to pay
3
attention. This is
inches
really
taller than the
hard.
woman, who was 5 feet tall, no more. My friend Joseph, on the other hand, did his best to cooperate with the police.
Okay.
And what did your friend Joseph say? What did this man and woman look like?
The man must have been 30 years old,
Hey, your
about
cat.
5 foot
Hey, Ollie.
7
Don't. You're
inches,
supposed to be paying
light
attention.
complexion,
Must be paying
and a
attention.
fair
I won't
moustache.
pet my cat.
He wore a loose, dark jacket, a grey cap, and a red scarf around his neck. But he said that he only saw him for a brief instant, and it would be impossible to recognize him.
Where'd he go?
And the woman?
There he is.
He only saw her from behind.
Are you messing with
She
my
had her
lights?
hand on the man's stomach and seemed to be
It's a blanket.
pushing him. He said that he remembered that she was small, was wearing
Small.
a black jacket and a black bonnet. After his testimony, the police took him to see the clothing of the deceased, and Joseph said that they looked identical to those of the woman he had seen.
Sneaky.
Like I already said, he only glanced at the two as he was headed with the others in the direction of Aldgate.
One final question. The Imperial Club is a Jewish club, isn't that correct?
Indeed.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Solomonovich.
Bah, it was nothing. We must at
That was
all
his tail
costs
that freaked
prevent
me
this
out.
demon from striking again. And the police seem to have some difficulty in doing that. I wish you
It's 'cause
the
they're
best
useless.
of luck, Mr. Holmes.
Have you seen their police station? It's a mess. Okay, what am I doing? Going back.
Clicking on the sign.
Ooh, sign. No, no, no. Whoa.
This building is the Great Synagogue of London.
Yes. Hence the sign.
You have to find the third exit. I will deep fry you with the heat gun.
That sounds like the perfect way to go.
Plugged in.
Empty threats. Empty threats. Ah, there is a.
This dark and narrow passage leads to St. James's Place. Well, let's find the spot where Edow's body was discovered.
We get to get a body.
Fourth one.
And this one's pretty gruesome.
Gore warning.
If memory serves, yeah. Gore warning, you have been warned.
Now then, we will need a lantern.
I have one of those.
Take the lantern, Watson.
Oh, to be Watson. No, I'm Holmes. I don't know who I am. I'm someone.
Watson, we are now in the exact spot where poor Edows tragically ended her days.
Yeah.
This spot is very dark, Holmes.
That is probably why our murderer chose it.
As a small side note, your last episode is going to have to be really rated mature.
Is
There's nudity.
Fun. Oh, joy. Look at this. Because everyone knows that humans peel back like that.
Maybe they do. I've never hacked someone apart.
Do these
from
objects spread out by the victim remind us of anything, Watson?
Okay, I'm going to do that after.
A thimble is located right
collect
beside
all
one of
the
the victim's hands, just like Chapman's sachet of pills and Stride's pastils.
Can you let him out if he wants out?
it. Can he not open the door?
The main
No, he
incision
can't.
goes from the sternum all the way down to the groin.
Yeah, well, he's special.
The
He can't
murderer
open
opened
this
his
door.
abdomen as if it were an animal carcass.
Can only open
A
right
kidney was
doors.
removed. The uterus was removed.
Cool, we're removing organs again.
These intestines were pulled out altogether to grant
I
access
wasn't
to
even
the
looking
abdomen.
at I was looking at the slash on here. The intestines have been pulled out. What?
The head is turned towards the left. The murderer must have been on the right
fun.
side of his victim. Let's look at her
There's
from
no
the front.
nose. Eee. That's a face. Ah.
The cheeks were slashed to make them thinner. The eyelids were cut off. The cheeks were slashed to make them...
You're
The
not
nose
gonna.
was cut.
Okay, I was gonna say you're not gonna comment on that nose. No.
There is but one wound, Watson. It goes from the left side and descends in a slight oblique
One wound.
towards the
You
right
don't call
side.
these wounds?
One neck wound.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's it.
You'll be able to find out shortly.
Part of this apron is missing. We will follow up on that shortly. The
Okay.
inside of the thighs is clean. Once again, there were no sexual relations between the victim and her murderer.
Intriguing.
My goodness, Holmes, it was a slaughter.
Understand, Watson, that our killer had neither the time nor the conditions to bother with the niceties. He had no more than 7 or 8 minutes at most to kill the woman, open her up, and all the while in total darkness.
That's pretty good.
Holmes, it's a woman, a poor victim you're talking about.
Consider all the time this man lost and the risks that he actually took by cutting the victim's face and the lower abdomen in around 20 precise spots, especially the lungs and the liver. These attacks, which I considered gratuitous, are in fact nothing of the sort and have as much sense as the removal of the organs. Watson, we must now
Interesting.
consult our timeline. We began in Dutfield's yard, but this time we will try to recreate the actions of certain people, in this case those of the 2 policemen.
Okay. So 138 PC Watkins enters Mitre Square.
1:30 a.m. PC Watkins didn't see the corpse while on his rounds. If PC Watkins did his rounds properly, and there is no
That's
reason
it.
to doubt this was the case, as he discovered the corpse a quarter of an hour later, the murder hadn't yet taken place, and there was no one in Mitre Square, unless they were hidden among the shadows. Enter Mitre Square via Mitre Street, Watson, and stop and try to see me with the
I don't
lantern.
care
I
about
will
the
be
other
where
two.
poor Edow's corpse was.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you did that wrong.
Read that. Sorry, Holmes, let me go back out and try again.
I have no reason to go there.
Yeah, I know that. We're redoing this.
You did it
I
wrong.
see
There
you,
we go.
Holmes.
Perfect, Watson. Let's look at our timeline, Watson.
Okay. Murder hadn't taken place at 1:30. Okay.
Very good, Watson. Thus we can categorically state that the murder had not yet occurred at 1:30.
Okay, 1:35 minute and women discuss evidence of church passage. Okay.
1:35 a.m. A man and a woman are arguing at the entrance of Church Passage. The man came from Aldgate.
And 1:42 PC Harvey arrives.
1:42 a.m. PC Harvey arrives in Mitre Square. It should be noted, Watson, that the constable didn't enter Mitre Square. He could not have seen the corpse lying on the ground. But would he have been able to see a man sitting or standing? Go to the Church Passage entrance, then come back and try to see me while holding your lantern. I will stay at the spot where the victim was discovered.
More lantern acting. I like it.
I'm trying to go towards Holmes. Where are you going?
Oh, where's Holmes? Oh! Lost him. Oh, there we go.
I see you, Holmes.
You had to proceed into the square in order to see me, something
I know
Harvey
what I'm
didn't
doing.
do.
No, I don't.
It is possible that the killer was still there. 1:42 a.m. PC Harvey arrives at Mitre Square, but does not go in. The murderer may well have still been there.
Interesting. Okie dokie. 1:44 body discovered.
1:44 a.m. The body is discovered. Let's put the murder of poor Eddowes on the timeline, Watson.
Oh. Oh, I see. Hey, tells me when it takes place.
1:35
off
and
by
1:42 a.m. The murder would appear to have taken place between these times, that is to say, within 7 minutes.
It's
Agreed,
quite a messy
Holmes.
timeline.
But does this really prove that our killer had the time to perpetrate these 2 murders?
Let's look at our timeline, Watson.
Yeah, because we got a whole gap of time.
There, Watson. We are now certain that the murderer really had the time to commit these 2 murders.
Incredible.
Let's look at our deduction board, Watson.
Not our deduction board. I just love our deduction board.
What was the deduction board?
Edo's cheeks were slashed to become thin. Edo's eyelids were cut. I don't know where you want that. Nose was cut. Kidney removed. Liver, lungs underwent small incisions. Thimble found in right hand. Items are meant for a woman. Interesting. Items belong to the victim? Probably. What were my other options? Before the murderer is a woman belonging to the victim? Probably. What? Oh, so that could make sense. The murderer would search. See what she had on her. Thimble is found right beside victim's hand. Edo's held a thimble in her hand. Makes sense. Murderer hates kidneys. Humans don't need them. I hate them. Let's remove everyone's kidneys and they'll all die. Knew anatomy and did not know anatomy. I would say probably knew anatomy. Oh, yay, another one. Look at all these deductions. Okay, wound to the neck goes from right and slightly oblique descending. So, murder was behind victim. Fierce and instantaneous. Murder wants to decapitate the victim. Shorter than victim, superficial, same kind as that. Stride. I can't remember. Sure. Central precision goes from sternum downward toward the groin. Ambidextrous, right-handed, must be left-handed. Left-handed? Right now? No. It's all wrong. Does that mean this one's wrong? I wish it would tell me. Oh, okay, that one's right. Okay, yeah. Died same as a stride, short and left-handed, strangled his victim. Well, not that one. Maybe not that one. No one knows. Oh, it's right. Yay! Yay! Herb Edo's apron was cut out. Items are the victim's feet are very orderly. It doesn't like them.
You've only used 2 in that one.
Oh. I see. Oh, I didn't understand that. Okay, I get it. I get it.
This spot is making me nauseous. Can we not head back, Holmes?
We certainly can't, Watson. We have one final point to address. Do you remember the piece of white apron that was missing just now? It was found just a few steps away from here, at the entrance of a building. That's where we must go.
Nice. Good work, Holmes. Where are we? It's this
Let's
one?
go.
It's this one.
There's the
Tour
spot,
7,
Watson.
18,
By night, Goulston Street is deathly silent, which will permit us to carry out a fair few experiments. Let's find the entrance where the piece of the victim's
But I'm
apron
not at my
and the
science
mysterious chalk message were found.
Oh, Holly.
Look at these signs, Watson. We are in the Jewish High Street. Look at these signs, Watson. We are in the Jewish High Street. Look at these signs, Watson. We are in the Jewish High Street. Look at these signs, Watson. We are in the Jewish High Street.
Yes. Do you got another one? No. Aw. I feel like, is there something here? Ah,
There's the spot where the apron and the message were found by PC Long. Now, let's recreate the scene. Remember, Watson, it was raining that night. Find me something with which to mimic raindrops hitting this wall while I write something with my chalk.
The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. But what does it mean?
oh, I've
Have you found something for us to pour water from, Watson?
Find a container and some water. Let me remind you that it's night time and the street is deserted, Holmes.
Why do I wasn't having to do this?
I have no reason to go that way.
Okay, Mr. Krabby Pants. Found a barrel. There's
Water.
another actual one of it. Oh yeah! Hey! Okay, well we found some water. We just need something to put the water in. Box. Ooh. I don't know how that's gonna help us, but we have a hook.
That may come in handy. Who knows?
Yeah, because... Oh, hello.
A watering can. That's what I need. But I can't reach it.
Use the bowl.
A watering can. That's what
Okay,
I need.
shh. Wait. Oh, you want the board, do you? I accidentally hit the space bar. Wait. What? Oh, it's the crate. I thought you wanted the board. I was very confused for a second. What am I doing with this?
Having fun.
I like he has like the force. Use the force. What? Oh, hello.
A watering can. That's what I need. But I can't reach it. A watering can. That's what I need. But I can't reach it.
Can't you reach it?
He's a shrimpy short person.
Watson, you're useless. Did you know that?
I have no reason to go that way.
Okay, Your Majesty. Oh, hey, look, more bowl. Oh,
An old wooden pole. A merchant probably threw it out.
or he left it in his stall because he was gonna use it again. But you know, that's just you, Watson, stealing things for people.
A
Now we're
watering
stealing
can.
someone's water.
That's what I need.
Why
But
not?
I can't reach it.
Why can't he reach it? Why? Why can't you reach it? Holmes. Holmes, why is your assistant so useless? Why? 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 Why some string? Really, I
That may
have to
come
tie
in
them
handy.
together.
Who knows?
Useless. Useless, Watson. No, that's not what I want to do. Thank you. No. Yeah, now we're stealing someone's watering can. And magically our pole disappears. Okay, where was that barrel? Barrels! Just watch, it'll have a hole or something, and I'll have to find something that fits the watering can. 6 hours later, I'll finally get water to Holmes. We'll say, "What took you so long, Watson? You're useless. Why do I
The
bother
Jews are
keeping
not
you
the
here?"
men that will be blamed for nothing. But what does it mean?
Watering can?
The Jews are not the men that...
Okay, shh.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Oh.
If this message were written by the killer, then it would have been lying in this entrance for up to 35 minutes before being discovered. Let's find out in what state it must have been.
Minutes.
This message could not have withstood an entire night in the rain. During the investigations carried out on the night of the double murder, PC Hulse inspected the entrances of this street around 2:20 a.m. and confirmed to have seen nothing out of the ordinary. At 2:55 a.m., 35 minutes later, PC Long found Catherine Edow's piece of apron and the message in chalk. This message would not have withstood a whole night in the rain, as had I continued to water it for a little longer, I would certainly have erased it. It was written, therefore, at the moment when the piece of apron was dumped. This substantiates PC Hulse's statement, which stated he had seen neither of these during his rounds. After its discovery, it was guarded and protected from the rain, which was subsiding, which explains why it was still legible when it was erased at 5:30. My dear Watson, when you met P.C. Smith on his rounds in the street, where was he? On the pavement or in the middle of the road?
In the middle of the road, Holmes, without a shadow of a doubt.
Good. You will go down the street with your lantern as if you were a policeman on patrol, using Smith's position as a guide. As soon as you see the entrance where I used the watering can, tell me if you see anything.
Okie dokie. I guess it means I need my lantern. Oh, there it is, magically popping into existence. Beep, 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 beep.
There, Holmes. From here, I can see something written.
Can you read it?
No.
Do you see the white rag, Watson?
No.
I see something on the ground, but I'm not sure if it's what you were talking about.
P.C. Long, who found the piece of apron, was examining the interior of the entrances, and yet nobody would have predicted that this piece of material would be discovered on the very night of the murder by a policeman on patrol.
What are you trying to get at, Holmes?
Let's look at this message on the wall, Watson. The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. In other words, the Jews were possibly blamed for nothing, but that will no longer be the case. Reading this message naturally begs one question. What would that be, Watson?
Why?
Indeed, Watson, why? For what reason would one have the right to blame the Jews in the future? Remember, Liz Stride was killed near a club for socialist Jews, Edow's not far from the synagogue and the Imperial Club, and finally, this piece of apron dropped here. This building is occupied by Jewish families. The killer really did go out of his way to incriminate the Jews living in the area.
It's a bit obvious, Holmes.
Yes, but with the rumors, Watson, the author of this message would have received a response to his strategy.
You are right, Holmes. So perhaps it's a good thing this message was erased.
Whoever took the decision to do this is a man of great wisdom and courage. Let's return to Baker Street, Watson. I have some pipes to smoke to help me think more clearly.
Oh, Holmes, here we go to drugs.
Let's go back to Baker Street.
Yay!
Home, sweet home.
Home, sweet home, in the middle of the night. Baker Street.
I had nightmares all night, Holmes. As for you, I bet you didn't get a wink of sleep, did you? It's this chalk message business, isn't it?
Among other things.
And this lunatic is still running free. If only we knew what he looked like.
But we do know, Watson. We have a fairly accurate description.
I must have missed an episode of your adventures, Holmes. Not only have I heard you discredit the value of our eyewitnesses, but the few descriptions we do have don't seem to correspond.
An inaccurate account can regain its value if we can discover why and to what extent the truth must be rewritten. We've learned a great many things tonight, and I'm able to tell you what our man looks like.
Really?
Yes,
Oh
and we're
dear,
going
are
to
they
need a
gonna
few
ask me
things,
to
Watson. Find me
create
3
a picture
mannequins,
of him?
my worker's costume, my 3 full wigs, one of your worn garments, yes, that can be used for the workman's outfit, and one of your old suits. Oh, and my deer stalker, the one I never wear, but everyone seems to think I wear day and night.
What?
Go find things.
Okay. Well, he said he needed an old suit. I just happened to leave it out of my cupboard because it's an old suit that I don't wear.
3 mannequins, his 3 full wigs, his worker's his disguise, one of your old suits, one of your something else's, his deer stalker.
Is this my old suit then? Oh, who knows? No one knows.
Just grab all the things and bring them with you.
Do you need a shaver? Okay, I think that's everything from here. Watson, where's your wife?
We shall place our mannequins here, Watson.
Watson, where's your wife? Why have you forsaken her?
Basically 3 hats, 3 jackets, 3 wigs, 3 mannequins.
What's this? Purple thing.
You apparently don't want it.
What is it? It's very purple.
How's
Oh, I think it's the poster for the fraud magician dude.
Yeah, you need 3 hats, 3 mannequins, 3 jackets, 3 wigs.
Okay. Oh. Ooh, we used to keep mannequins in this closet. Because that's not creepy at all. Oh, there's a hat. Grab that quick. Keep interrupting myself. Ooh, there's a head. That's creepy.
What's from the story?
He's a Jedi. He can open things with just his little mind. Because that's how doors work. Everyone knows that's the way they work. Okay, I need another wig and another hat. There's a hat.
A wig.
Gun.
This will come in handy.
Gun. Yep, that's totally how doors work in the real world.
Fun.
So, as for one of the murders, we have no witnesses whatsoever. As for the 3 other, we have at least one person who claims to have seen the victims talking to a man a few minutes before their death. Do you remember whom these would be, Watson?
Nope. Oh no. Oh. Nope.
Find your 3 pieces of evidence.
Oh no. Well, this one has, because he was talking about them, I do know that.
I'll give you a hint. There's 2 conversations in a document.
That's not. It was Barnes. No. I don't remember.
Well, have fun reading then.
No.
Now you already have the one for Edos. You need one for Edos, one for Stride, and one for...
Mm.
Whoever the second person is, I can't remember their name. Polly Nichols? Nope, no idea.
Ha. Okay, that one's our one for
Annie Chapman. So I need the one for Liz Strad.
Okay. Alright.
Bravo, Watson. There are our 3 witnesses.
Okay. Now we gotta actually read these. Okay, so what are we looking for? First, let's look. We need age, we need a jacket, a hat, and a wig.
Yeah.
Why are there duplicates?
So that you could put if more than one person says he's blonde or more than one person says he's dark haired.
Ew, I see. Okay, let's see if we
Because the wig
find
suddenly
this.
sprouted little wig babies and now they're crawling all over.
They're like tribbles. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Two unkempt people. Um. 30 years old. Here, I'll write this down so I don't have to look at this 6,000 times. Okay, so 30 years. Where was it? Oh, there we go. Fair mustache. Light complexion. Fair mustache. What does that mean?
Fair?
Dark jacket. What are you doing over there? Gray cap. Interesting. Okay. Dark jacket. Does that count as a dark jacket? A gray cap.
They'll let you know when you have all the things right for a person.
Blonde. Does that count as a fair, light complexion?
Yeah, fair does mean blonde.
Does it? Oh. Okay.
You've neglected the height and the age.
Oh, I forgot about height. You said it was like 5'7" or something? Yeah, 5'7". 5'7"?
There is an error, Watson. Let's reread Abraham's testimony.
I'm not done the age, you dummy.
Try moving the height again. Like I said, he'll know the height. He'll tell you when you have everything right.
There is an error, Watson. Let's reread Abraham's testimony.
Was this a dark jacket?
Do you say dark jacket or workers' clothes?
There is an
That's
error,
workers'
Watson.
clothes.
Let's
Is it
reread
dark
Abraham's
jacket?
testimony.
And stop. And down. And stop. Down.
So 3 inches taller than the woman who was, so then if you know 5'3", but this says 5'7". Who's start checking?
Well, do the next one and see what you have left. Because the jacket can't be repeated.
Black jacket. Huh. Okay. We'll do this. Okay. So 40 years old. Approximately 5'3". Brown deer stalker. A dark coat.
Working class.
Very working class. Okay. Dark hair. Okay, dark hair. Dark hair. Dark hair. Deer stalker. Working clothes.
No, but dark working.
Dark working clothes. And then this would make sense to be that one.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. Okay, we said we were about 5'3". 3, okay. And we were about 40.
Perfect, Watson.
Okay, so that one's good.
So we should move that one.
Indeed, Watson, that's the right size for Abraham's mannequin. The account given by Mr. Solomonovich's friend is incorrect in at least one point. The first Joseph said that the man was at least 5'7" tall. The second Joseph said he was 3 inches taller than the victim, whom we know was 5 feet tall, which would suggest a height of 5'3". Don't forget that it was this second Joseph who attracted his friend's attention towards the couple on the other side of the road. We can assume he got a very good look at them. As for young P.C. Smith's account, he must have been mistaken about this person's real height. It is only an inch or two after all, and we can attribute the same height as the other two.
Okay, we're not done yet. We still have to do this one. Okay. Short black outfit. Small felt hat. Dark color, white collar. Such respectable. Okay, so 30.
Black.
Coat. Felt hat. 5'8".
30 or 28 or 26.
Cap.
Alright, so if it's black, then you have the wrong jacket on.
It was black.
Yeah, the jacket you have on him isn't black.
It is. Oh, no, it's not.
So swap it. No, that one's perfect, so leave it alone.
There we are. Magnificent.
Okay. And we said 30.
Or 28 or 26.
As for young P.C. Smith's account, he must have been mistaken about this person's real height. It is only an inch or two after all, and we can attribute the same height as the other two.
I think that's it.
Oh. I thought I was supposed to use the numbers from the accounts.
Bravo, Watson.
Yeah,
Our
until he tells you
mannequins
to
have been
change them.
recreated based on the correct accounts. Now, Watson, let's see in what ways these statements differ and how the witnesses could have been mistaken. Let's look at these wigs and moustaches. Let's start by taking the first Joseph's testimony, who saw the man head-on in a well-lit spot and in which he noted fair hair.
Joseph.
Now, let's consider the same person, but in the lighting and angle of the other two witnesses, in the darkness of night, with poor artificial lighting from above. Put out the light, Watson.
Put out the light. Is this a light switch? Is that what that is?
Sure.
It's more like a weird tooth in a tiny picture frame.
Thus, poor lighting and a backlit subject can affect our perception of shades and colours. The wigs from Abraham's mannequin took on the same colour as the other two. The three testimonies, therefore, don't contradict one another, and we can apply the same facial hair to all three mannequins. Turn on the light, Watson.
This is such a thrilling game. Turning on the lights. Wait, so then it would be... Yeah.
No, he likes the first Joseph's testimony.
Oh, okay, so then...
And in the dark, all of them look the same.
And...
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Well done, Watson.
Pay
With regards
attention.
to the murderer's hair,
It's very
the three
hard.
witnesses should
It's not.
agree on Abraham's testimony. As Joseph is the only one who saw our man in full light, his hair must therefore be fair. You see, Watson, it is hard to draw objective conclusions when one is an eyewitness to an event. This leads us to reconsider the various statements regarding the supposed age of the man. Even if you are face to face with someone in full light and for a period of several hours, to what extent can you determine their exact age? And even more so if you observe them for only a few seconds and or from behind. We must allow some flexibility when considering our witnesses' statements, but always scientific flexibility.
Oh, hello. What? I'm confused.
That's how the kids the 30, the original, could be 3 to 5 years off. Given that, what are the possible age ranges? The first one, if he's 5 years off, is 25 to 35. So the next age range, if he was, say, 4 years off, would be... No, you're right. No, wrong way. I mean, 25 to 35. No, it says there's 34 to 26 years of age. And then if he was 3 years off... 3.
I can do math. Okay.
The rest of them are yours. It's really easy this time. You can just go up or down by 1 each time.
What? No, that's wrong. There we go. My brain is tired, okay? My brain is not in a happy place right now.
I will admit this took me some time to figure out the first time.
It's just
There we are.
random.
Magnificent.
Holy cow. Another 7 to 10. One.
Okay, you have 16. It literally goes up by 1 each time you go down.
I know. It's just annoying.
Yes, I will agree to that. You could just say he's between 16 and 36.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing with these games, is the mechanics are just tedious.
But no less
Perfect,
than
Watson.
19 to 33.
Yes, I
Yeah.
have, Holmes.
Now that we have fully considered the
It's just
witness
tedious.
accounts,
Tedious
let's see
and
to what extent they
time-consuming.
agree. If we apply the range of error for each of our dummies, we can deduce the age of our
Dummies.
murderer as precisely as possible.
What? Now you should find a number that matches through all 3.
Oh. 33.
Perfect, Watson. Within a margin of 1 year, Watson, the age of our murderer is 33 years.
But the man described by Smith was dressed respectably. whereas the other two were poorly dressed.
Yeah, Watson, that's
Indeed,
really
but
easy
Whitechapel's
to do.
respectively could quite easily describe the Sunday
Just go steal
bests
someone's
little
clothes off
lower
their
class
drying
men
rack.
own. Now, let's place
Holmes has
ourselves
no- or
in the
no,
shoes of
Watson
Liz
has
Stride's
no
killer.
imagination.
He has just slain his victim
why he
and sees
got it.
Louis Deemschutz discover her body. Our killer is at great risk if he stays in the area. He therefore gets away from this spot. But he wants to kill again. However, he might have been spotted in the area before having committed the murder by a constable on his round, perhaps, who managed to get his description. What do you think the killer will do?
Throw his clothes in a sewer or trash bin. And change and conflict.
No,
Make
that's
them-
not it.
Why not? Buy a
No,
disguise.
that's not it.
Enter.
No, that's not it. No, that's not it.
Go back home or to a safe location, change his clothes and leave again in search of another victim.
Oh,
It's the only possible
Okay.
explanation, Watson. The man returned to the safety of his lodgings and then decided to go out again with new clothes and repeat his sinister nocturnal work. That's how the discrepancies between the witnesses with regards to clothing can be explained.
What a cold-blooded animal.
And what determination! Powerful motives are pushing this man. Thus, we can conclude that the respectable man with the package may very well have been seen by the two Josephs.
who's your cheater?
Even if it is just a mannequin.
You're right, Watson. We have worked on who, now let's work on where. We need a map of Whitechapel, and please also find me a
Oh,
pencil,
it's my
2
turn.
compasses, one of which can draw ellipses.
This is not fun science. This is not fun science. I want to do fun science.
You can do fun science when you're looking at naked people.
What?
I am in need of something.
What?
What did Holmes
I
tell
am
you to
in
do?
need of something.
Map, pencils, something, compass, tools, knife.
Now you gotta do
Stab.
math.
Math? No. What's with the assortment of knives? Did you see that?
No.
Look at them all.
I don't know. That was when he was looking for proper knife murdery tools. He kept all of them.
Oh. The grand deduction.
Grand deductions?
I don't know. That's what I'm calling these yellow ones.
Fine.
I don't know why I'm doing this. Just randomly clicked on here and it's like, here you go.
You're figuring out where he lives.
Okay. I need a map.
Yes. The map has not changed where it was.
It's right here, but
No,
we
it's
need
not.
something.
Yeah.
I am in need of something.
What?
Right click.
What? Wow.
Oh.
I thought we were just gonna grab.
First of all, let's place our 4
Okay, we're
murders
doing
on this
work on the
map,
wall.
as well as the
Thought it was
spot where the
bringing
graffito appeared,
That's what I was
and the
confused.
piece of apron was dropped.
Oh, it's a hat. Oh, okay, so Annie Chapman.
Yeah, where'd she die?
I can't remember.
Well, this is gonna be it.
I like how they use the actual pictures. That's cool. Graffito. Okay, Goulston Street is where the graffiti was.
Mhm.
Is that actually gonna stay?
Yeah. It goes wherever, but yeah, you're close.
Okay. Mitre Square was Annie? Question mark? I can't remember. I feel like I should remember.
Yeah, you should. Oh, you hit all.
I'm sorry, Ollie. This is why you don't sit behind me. I hit you with hats, apparently.
Wow. You're sad.
I'm sorry, it's nighttime. Okay,
You're sad.
Catherine's in miter. Oh, well, I'm sorry.
You just did that one.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, Polly is in Bucks Row. Annie is in Hanbury. And you are here.
Perfect, Watson. Let's connect each crime scene to the one
I'm
out
sorry,
of the
my brain
others
wasn't
that is the
working.
furthest.
Connect what? Hiya! Hiya!
You see,
You'll notice
Watson,
if
the
you do
murders
the
aren't
measurements,
grouped together, but
Polly
seem
and
to be spread out like
or
calculated
Annie and
points
Liz's
around the
are the
central
farthest
zone.
away.
The killer obviously wanted to avoid returning to the previous scenes of his crimes, assuming that they would be more closely watched or that he could be recognized.
So the killer lives at the center of this cross.
In the vicinity, most certainly, but how near? We cannot afford to get it wrong. If you concentrate, Watson, you will notice that the murders are roughly equidistant from the intersection point of the diagonals. Let's focus on the night of the double murder. Remember, Watson, it took us 20 minutes to get from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square. Let's draw a line from one to the other. Perfect. We didn't make the trip as the crow flies, but that would not harm our estimate. Let's suppose the killer left Dutfield's Yard at 1 a.m. and arrived in Mitre Square at 1:35 a.m. when he was seen by the two Josephs. If he took 5 minutes to change his clothes, that leaves a range of 10 minutes to determine where this man's lodgings are. We must determine the area in which one can go from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square in less than half an hour. To do this, let's draw an ellipsis. The length between Dutfield's Yard and Mitre Square corresponds to 20 minutes. By adding half, we get a distance
He's
of
talking
30
math.
minutes.
It's just going in
By
one ear
taking
and
the
out
two
the other.
right segments, each starting from the two murder scenes,
He's telling
and
you
which
exactly
the sum
what to
of the
do.
lengths makes 30 minutes, we get our ellipses.
Okay.
Ellipses.
That's not what I wanted. Oh, no.
And that's why there's an eraser.
Shoot. Shoot. Okay.
No, that's 20 minutes. You need 30 minutes. No, that's like 23-ish minutes.
Ah.
That's-
I'm just doing art now. What did he say? I'm very confused.
Make a circle or ellipses that represents 30 minutes. The line from one to the other is 20 minutes, so you need to make it half again as wide as that line.
Where's it starting from?
The center.
So it's in. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, so it's
There's one, so
this
you need to make it
wide.
half again as wide.
I can't go any wider.
You don't need to go any wider. That's too wide. A little less.
There we are, Watson.
Okay, then
Our
I'll
killer
accept
lives
that.
in this area.
It's still
Big
rather
area.
a vast area, Holmes.
Yes, indeed. And our goal is to reduce this area as much as we can. We must consider the fact that the murder at Mitre Square was committed under a certain amount of pressure, given that the killer knew he was wanted for the acts he committed not long before. We can assume that he had to do it in a safe zone, that is, an area not far from where he lives. This is especially true of an act such as the graffiti he carried out after 2 murders. Let's trace a circle around this point, with the distance separating it from Mitre Square as the radius. This will enable us to determine our killer's safe zone.
Okay, I think I understand what I want. Keep on.
Our killer must surely live inside this circle. Now, let's intersect it with the ellipsis that we previously determined.
What?
Click on the area that 2 circles cover.
There we are, Watson,
at your
the
map.
Aldgate district.
Shouldn't we
Geometry
inform the
skills.
police? so that they can concentrate their efforts on this area of Whitechapel.
It is probably already crawling with inspectors, Watson, and I doubt that they would take us seriously, even if they were willing to listen to what we had to say. Let's focus instead on understanding the killer's modus operandi. We know our
Modus
murderer
operandi.
preys on prostitutes who
Fancy
are
that.
penniless, weak, sick, or alcoholic, that he distracts them the moment before killing them, and that he left an anonymous message inciting anti-Semitic hatred at the entrance of a building occupied by Jews. How would you describe this man?
What a coward.
Indeed, he is a person of great cowardice. Let's look at his murders, and in particular, the depredations on the corpses, putting aside that of Liz Stride, because on that occasion his work was left unfinished. If we recall the observations made on the victims and the parts that were
Such a
mutilated or
creepy photo.
damaged on each of the
The
bodies,
biggest one?
without forgetting the fact that he
The
also
eyes.
removed one or more organs, we can ascertain that our killer evolves during the course of the murders, cowardly and still evolving. And yet, look at the location of our first murder, that of Polly Nichols in Bucks Row. It is the most distant from the area our killer would appear to live. Perhaps this murder was preceded by another within the killer's area. I believe a cowardly killer would commit his first murder in an area close to his home in order to find refuge as quickly as possible on carrying out the act.
Holmes, an idea just occurred to me that fills me with dread. This evolution of which you speak.
He will pursue his next victim as long as the conditions permit him to continue killing Watson.
But how could one go even further in this horror? Look at what he did to that woman, Catherine Eddowes.
In order to avoid having to answer that question, we must act with haste and planning. Watson, I suggest you inform yourself on the mutilations sustained by the victims. We played with the idea that this could be an act of vengeance against prostitutes. If the mutilations correspond to areas affected by a specific pathology, perhaps the killer wanted to give an eye for an affliction he felt the prostitutes he knew were responsible for.
And this trail leading to Dr. Tumblety Holmes?
I also have a few things to look into in the meantime. I still have a primary witness to track down, not to mention old trails I've yet to pursue. See you soon, Watson. When we first spoke about the Bucks Row murder with Watson, he was reading a newspaper, The Star, dated September 1st, 1888, I believe, which mentioned similar murders in the preceding months. I have no chance of finding the police reports, but perhaps I could find some information at the Central News Agency. I must go there at once. Afterwards, I'll go back to see Abraham, the owner of the pet shop in Whitechapel. The second Joseph's statement would lead me to believe that he may know the man spotted on the corner of Church Passage that night. If that's the case, I must find this witness so I can question him.
Alrighty. But we are going to leave that until next time. So thank you for joining me in Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper.
Yes.
Whatever am I going to do with conscience? And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.